The first warning came as a whisper through instruments that had never lied before. Deep beneath the Atacama Desert, inside a facility so old that its builders were long dead, a cluster of sensors stirred from their passive slumber. They had been designed to listen for the faint tremors of spacetime itself, the subtle distortions left behind by things that moved faster than light. For 3 centuries, they had heard nothing. Then, all at once, they screamed. Technicians barely had time to look at their screens before alarms flooded the chamber. Spikes of energy bloomed across the displays, impossible curves folding into impossible shapes. Something massive was forcing its way into normal space. Not near Earth. On top of it. Across the planet, astronomers gasped as the night sky fractured. Stars warped and stretched like reflections on broken glass. Above every hemisphere, colossal wounds opened in space, bleeding light the color of burning magnesium. Humanity's emergency networks activated automatically. Satellites pivoted, telescopes focused, military command centers lit up like hives struck with a stick. Within seconds, the truth became impossible to deny. An empire had arrived. They did not hail Earth, they did not broadcast demands or warnings, they did not posture. They came in force. Thousands of vessels poured from hyperspace, each one dwarfing the largest human dreadnought ever constructed. Their hulls were layered with ornate geometry, glowing sigils etched into armor kilometers thick. Energy cascaded along their flanks in disciplined patterns, like banners made of light. To the galactic dominion of Varkesh, this was not an invasion. It was pest control. Earth was catalogued as a pre-FTL-adjacent anomaly, a species that had developed crude faster-than-light technology without proper guidance. Worse, humans had begun expanding, quietly, efficiently, into regions the Dominion claimed by ancient right. The Varkesh solution was absolute. Erase the problem. High above the planet, the invasion fleet deployed into perfect formation, weapon apertures unfolded, gravity lances charged, each capable of cracking continents, atmospheric igniters aligned, designed to boil oceans and strip skies in minutes. On the command throne of the flagship Ascendant Wrath, Supreme Executor Kael'var observed the planet below with cold satisfaction. So small, he said, his voice translated for the fleet, so loud, so ignorant. He raised a clawed hand. Begin planetary pacification. The first shots fell like judgment. Beams of compressed gravity stabbed down through the atmosphere, carving glowing scars across the oceans. Shockwaves rippled outward, triggering tsunamis that raced toward coastlines. Cities went dark as electromagnetic pulses rolled across continents. To the Dominion's sensors, Earth's defenses appeared laughable. A handful of orbital platforms activated, their railguns spitting metal slugs that vaporized against Imperial shields. Missile swarms launched and died in blossoms of light. The Empire advanced, methodical and merciless. Then something strange happened. No panic broadcast erupted from Earth. No desperate pleas. No chaotic counterattack. Instead, human communications went quiet. Across military channels, civilian networks, even open broadcasts, silence spread like a held breath. On the Ascendant Wrath, a junior sensor officer shifted uneasily. Executor, she said, mandibles twitching, the humans, they've stopped transmitting. Kael'var snorted, their systems are collapsing, continue. But deep within Earth's crust, far below cities and seas, ancient doors were opening. Humanity had learned something early in its history, long before it ever reached the stars. If something powerful enough to threaten you is watching, you do not shout. You prepare. Hidden bunkers older than many nations came online, quantum cores spun up, drawing energy from folded dimensions, defense grids long dismissed as theoretical activated, their presence invisible to conventional sensors. In orbit, human satellites shifted position not to attack, but to vanish. One by one, they slipped into nullspace pockets, leaving behind ghost signatures that confused enemy targeting. On the surface, civilian evacuation protocols executed with brutal efficiency, subterranean cities sealed, oceanic habitats dove deep, the planet itself seemed to hunker down. And then Earth spoke back. Not with words. With physics. The first human counterstrike was so subtle the Dominion almost missed it. Across the invasion fleet, microfractures appeared in shield harmonics, energy flows stuttered, power redistribution algorithms began making tiny, inexplicable corrections, To the Dominion, it felt like static. To a human engineer watching the readouts in a buried command center, it looked like success. Phase interference confirmed, she said calmly. They're running standard Imperial shield matrices. A general nodded. Then they'll never see it coming. Humanity had never tried to outgun the galaxy. They had chosen a different path. At precisely the same moment, across every Dominion ship, reality shifted by less than a trillionth of a degree. That was enough. The Empire's shields, designed to repel energy and matter, were suddenly slightly out of alignment with the universe they occupied. Incoming and outgoing forces no longer agreed on what direction meant. The result was catastrophic. Gravity lances misfired, tearing through friendly vessels instead of Earth. Energy weapons folded inward, venting their power into internal compartments. Entire ships sheared apart as their own mass stopped agreeing with itself. On the ascendant Wrath, alarms erupted. What is happening? Kael'var roared. Before anyone could answer, Earth unleashed the second strike. From hidden platforms embedded in the moon, the asteroid belt, and the dark side of the sun's orbit, humanity's true weapons emerged. They did not glow. They did not announce themselves. They simply appeared, already firing. Streams of exotic particles punched through destabilized shields and ignored armor entirely, rewriting atomic bonds as they passed. Imperial cruisers unraveled into clouds of inert dust. Battleships collapsed into spheres of compressed debris, then vanished. Entire formations winked out in seconds. Kael'var watched his fleet disintegrate in stunned silence. This is impossible, he whispered. They are primitives. On Earth, a human commander watched the same battle with grim focus. Time since counteroffensive? She asked. 2 minutes, an aide replied. The Dominion tried to regroup. Surviving ships attempted emergency jumps, but space itself rebelled. Human interference fields twisted hyperspace lanes into dead ends. Vessels slammed back into real space or vanished forever. Then humanity escalated. They always did. Earth's planetary defense grid, long dismissed as fiction by alien analysts, finally revealed itself. The planet's magnetic field surged, reshaped by massive subterranean projectors. A luminous shell formed around Earth, catching incoming debris and deflecting residual fire. From within that shield, thousands of human craft launched, not massive capital ships, but sleek, angular vessels optimized for one thing: killing gods. They moved unpredictably, skipping through microjumps measured in meters rather than light years. Imperial targeting systems failed completely, unable to predict where a ship would be from one instant to the next. Human pilots did not engage in elegant formations. They hunted. Within minutes, the invasion fleet was no longer an organized force, it was a graveyard. On the ascendant Wrath, Kael'var felt the deck lurch violently as a human strike cut through the flagship's core systems. Power died, gravity failed. Through the viewport, he saw Earth blue, whole, furious. A human transmission cut through the chaos, bypassing Dominion encryption as if it weren't there. This is Earth, a calm voice said. Invasion attempt acknowledged. Kael'var stared at the hologram forming before him, a human face, scarred and tired, eyes hard as steel. You are being neutralized, the human continued. This took us 3 minutes and 42 seconds. We're a little disappointed. The executor's mandibles trembled. What are you? The human considered this. We're the species that learned very early, she said, that if the universe is hostile, you don't ask it to be kind. You become efficient. Behind her, displays showed the remaining Imperial ships falling one by one. This is impossible, Kael'var croaked. No species resists the Dominion. The human smiled faintly. You're not the first Empire to think that. With a final shudder, the ascendant Wrath went dark. Exactly 6 minutes after the invasion began, the last Dominion vessel ceased to exist. The night sky over Earth cleared, stars snapped back into place, the wounds in space healed as if they had never been there. On the surface, people emerged cautiously, staring upward in disbelief. Some cried, some laughed. Many simply stood in stunned silence. Humanity had been attacked by a galactic empire, and wiped it out in minutes. Across the galaxy, shockwaves rippled faster than any fleet. Listening posts went silent. Ancient powers re-evaluated centuries-old assumptions. Whispers spread through trade routes and shadow networks alike. Earth was no longer a backwater anomaly. It was a warning. And for the first time in a very long time, The stars were afraid of humans.